Good evening. The Catholic Diocese of Nashville is confronting a dark chapter of its past.
Late this afternoon, the diocese released a list of more than a dozen priests accused of sexually abusing children, some dating back to the 1950s.
Investigative reporter Ben Hall sat down with the bishop that ordered the release to find out why they decided to do it after all these years. Ben.
Well, the diocese names 13 priests, none of whom are currently practicing. It comes as other states are investigating allegations that church leaders spent decades covering up abuse.
We want it all out there right now. Let's see this. Let's be accountable for this.
Bishop J. Mark Spalding has led the Nashville Diocese for less than a year. But after a recent grand jury report in Pennsylvania detailed how church leaders there covered up sexual abuse by priests dating back decades, he decided Nashville should be open about what has happened here.
I felt that publishing the names is one of those key, if not most important steps we can do right now. Will there be other steps in the future? I believe so.
The diocese published the 13 names of accused priests dating back to 1952 in its newspaper, The Register. 9 of the priests are now dead. 2 others are in prison, and the other 2 were long ago removed from the priesthood.
How confident are you this is a complete list?
I feel that it's as confident as I can be.
On the list is former priest and principal at Father Ryan High School, Ronald W. Dickman. It is the first time the diocese has said he was credibly accused of abusing children. He ran the prestigious school for 10 years before resigning in 1987. The diocese forced him out of the priesthood in 1991. At the time, it said his misconduct only involved an adult, despite reports about abusing students. Dickman is still alive and has not been charged with a crime. He has denied abusing students. It also appears to be the first time the diocese acknowledged accusations of child abuse against James William Murphy. When he died in 2016, the Memphis Diocese said in his obituary that he was the oldest priest in Tennessee. Despite public complaints about abusing boys, he was never charged or removed from the priesthood. The Nashville Diocese admits to spending $6.5 million for counseling and pastoral assistance to abuse victims since 2002. That includes more than $1 million to settle lawsuits. Insurance helped cover that amount. The list also includes priests who were already prosecuted for abuse, like Edward McCowan. He pleaded guilty to raping and fondling a 12-year-old boy in 1999. But prosecutors say he abused at least 30 other children here in Nashville.
In an instant, I became the worst mother in the world. And I know people say you're not supposed to, but there's no way to keep from thinking, why didn't I protect my child?
Donna Harper's son was one that McCowan abused.
I really would like for him to apologize to my son.
Harper says McCowan had been accused of abuse before, so the church sent him to a therapist who said to keep him away from children.
He was allowed to say Mass, he was allowed to hear confessions, and then later went to these youth activities.
This should not have happened. The way it was handled back then is not the way we handle it now.
Bishop Spalding acknowledges the details of how the church handled past abusers are gut-wrenching.
I'm sorry. I apologize. This should have never happened, and we're working to make sure it never does again.
My son's name.
Despite what happened to her son, Donna Harper did not leave the Catholic Church.
There's nothing wrong with the church's theology. The problem is the people inside the church and whether we can or can't trust them.
Harper even agreed to be part of a diocese review board that examines complaints of child sexual abuse. It helped come up with the list of priests the church released.
The church in Nashville is being very proactive in light of what they have faced and what other dioceses are facing.
It's a continuous effort.
The bishop says that since 2002, priests are removed from the ministry after just one credible complaint of sexual abuse.
Hopefully, in time, people will see the Roman Catholic Church, when you send your children to their parishes, when you send your children to their school, those children are safe.
Some both inside and outside the church are questioning if this is a complete list. We talked to a Catholic church deacon who wants an outside investigation of the diocese files.
We need to get to the truth here, and I don't think it's for the diocese to tell the rest of the faithful what the truth is in this instance.
Now, the diocese says the Attorney General or District Attorney can review whatever files they'd like. We'll have this part of the story on Monday.